All right, this is Three Mountain Safety and Survival, and today we're assembling a washing machine made from a couple of buckets, a plunger, and some plastic. And I do apologize for the audio on this. It's very, very hot today. We've got fans going. I'm using a USB microphone, and it's picking up a little bit of feedback from the computer and all of the power equipment around us. So you'll hear a little bit of humming in some of the clips. Again, I do apologize, but it's what you've got to do when it's 105 outside.
All right, so we've gotten the holes drilled in the buckets and we've got all of the pieces assembled here, including the plastic bag that we're going to put on the ground to keep the bottom of our strainer bucket nice and clean so we don't soil our clothes after we've washed them. Now, we've got a problem with the tripod. It won't stay up on its own. So while I'm assembling and using the washing machine, I'm actually gonna have to turn the camera off. We'll do still pictures and intersperse them throughout the video so you can see what everything looks like when it goes together. And you can see how everything works as we strain it, rinse it, and operate the machine. Okay, so now we're filling up the bucket about 2/3 to 3/4 full of water. And we've used a hose that was sitting out in the sun all day so that we'd have natural hot water without having to use any power, since this is an off-grid experiment. And as you can see, the bucket's just about to where we want it. We've pulled the plunger partway out just because they're awfully flimsy and I was afraid it wouldn't come back up even though it's only a load of washcloths. All right, so now the lid's in place, more or less. We'll have to push it down on the backside. And as you can see over here, we've got a lid remover just in case it's tight and we can't get it back off. So now we're going to start plunging just like we're churning butter, and we'll do that for about 10 minutes and then start rinsing. All right, it's been 10 minutes, and under normal circumstances, that's a really good arm workout. I understand now why people were so much thinner back in the day. According to my little patio side thermometer, it's 105 out here, so it was exhausting and miserable. But it looks like it did the job. Now you can see on the ground on the plastic bag, there's quite a bit of water. The upper bucket wanted to float out of the lower bucket, so I really had to push it down to get it secured at first, and then it worked like a charm. So next we're going to use these bricks over here and we're going to try to wring out the clothes. Alright, so I've removed the lid so you can see the nasty water. And let's zoom in here a little bit. And it looks like, I don't know if you can see that, but we've got a couple of little pieces of orange plastic. I didn't quite get them all out. But these are just washcloths, so we'll make sure that we pick those off once they're dry on the line. Okay, so I've removed the inner bucket and I've placed it up on those bricks. That's what I was talking about. I want an opening where that big hole is down at the bottom to move as much water out as possible. So now we're going to dump the soiled water in this bucket out, and we're going to use that bucket and press it into the laundry on that bucket to wring out just as much water as we can. Okay, and now we have the outer bucket inside the inner bucket on top of the laundry. And you can see why we wanted it on that plastic bag to stay just as clean as it possibly could, because we're going to use it to press down on the newly cleaned laundry. Alright, so that worked really, really well. I pushed the bucket in there and then I actually just sat on it and let my body weight push the water out. That is not an inconsiderable amount, so it worked quite well. And you can see the bucket's down quite a bit further and we don't have a lot of drippage coming out. So now we're going to put clean water in on the laundry, do some more agitating, and get the rest of the soap residue off of it. Okay, so using the garden hose again to fill it up, and I actually had to reach into the bucket and loosen up the washcloths because they were pretty compacted into a brick. Now, I've seen people who did this with a drill, the original agitation, and an attachment, and I'm not entirely sure that's safe for your clothing, unless you have a drill that you can really dial down the power on and keep it from shredding your clothes. Now, it would work great if you were making fire logs out of recycled paper, but I think unless you had a really weak drill or something that you could put in extra low power, I wouldn't do it to your laundry. Not to mention the fact that this is supposed to be an off-grid washing machine, and you don't want to have to recharge your drill for something as trivial as laundry. Okay, so that's the final rinse cycle. Did it a couple of times and you can see the water's coming out of the bucket. We're going to press the outer bucket into it one more time and wring it out, and then it'll be hung up on the clothesline to dry. Alright, so it's been a day now, and we've got a nice load of clean washcloths and kitchen towels. In fact, we were able to wash so many in that bucket that it didn't all fit on the clothesline. And apparently one that offended a squirrel or something, I don't know. The rest of the washcloths went on these buckets. We had to leave the buckets out to dry them anyway. You want to make sure that you don't leave any standing water for mosquitoes to find, for obvious health reasons, but also the water can become fetid and nasty. It can damage your clothes, and it can just stink up the place. So we left that out in the heat, made sure everything was dry, and now we're ready to bring them all in. So all in all, a simple project, really cost effective. It was less than $10. And we now have a machine that we can use whenever we need it, whether the power is out or we just want something that's a little bit more eco-friendly. So stay tuned to this channel for more projects that we'll have coming down the pike. And if you're interested in learning more about the survival gear that we have available, check it out at www.3mountainsurvival.com. Thanks for watching.